What sparked me getting my license when it's kind of corny probably, but like I always really liked real estate in general and like houses, and I always want to go with my dad to go and look at houses, and I'd be like, I can do this. And I literally for years been telling them I want to get into real estate. I want to be a real estate agent. And it was just, I just liked the dynamic or the idea of it. And my dad's always been into real estate in the essence of like buying houses, fixing them and selling them. So I kind of had an idea about it for a long time. And then I just said, when COVID happened, I got laid off from barbering because I couldn't work. And at that point, when I saw that there was the online classes, I'm like, this is my moment. I'm just going to do it because I have nothing else to lose at this point, because regardless of how busy I was before, everything was stopped. We couldn't, like I said, our hugest season of flag was canceled, and I had nothing to do, and all of my barbering canceled. And then even when I could go back to work as a barber, there was no school and no daycare, and I had 4 kids that can't go to school and I can't leave them all home alone, because even if they're old enough to watch themselves, the reality is they weren't going to do their schoolwork and they're just going to fall behind. So someone has to make sure that they're doing what they need to do. 2 of them were too young anyways to be left home alone. But so really it just opened up the opportunity, the door for me to finally be like, okay, I'm going to go and do this. And I did. So I honestly have no idea what I was necessarily expecting with the class, being online, or what to expect with a real estate class in general. I guess I kind of thought it was going to be boring, but it really wasn't. I really enjoyed the class. I liked going to the class. It was informative, and it was never like a repetitive, boring, like you're just reading out of a book. Like it was something you can, like with the slides and just the whole way that it was put together, it actually made it like really interesting. I wasn't ready to turn my camera off and pretend I'm still there when really I'm falling asleep. No, I was actually engaged and enjoyed the class the entire time. So it was probably better than what I expected it to be, I'd say. And I did take another real estate class afterwards to obtain a different state license. And I definitely saw the difference at that point with it being online, because I felt like this one was very much so just reading out of a book, like reading to me versus talking to me. Or I don't know how else to explain it. Like I just felt like I was read to with the other one, where this one was very engaging and it wasn't boring. I don't really know how to explain it. So I had a friend who was in real estate, and I went and joined a brokerage literally that night. That night, I had messaged my friend. I said, hey, great news, I got my license. This person had referred me to the class, Champion Real Estate Academy. It told me it was a great academy and that Lewis was a great teacher. So he knew I was going anyways. And as soon as I got my license, I messaged him, and I actually went out to his house later on and talked to him and signed all the stuff to join that brokerage. So my experience with that brokerage, I think the brokerage was good, and I think that the people I worked with were really great agents. I just felt like I needed a little bit more help, because I was very needy, to put it simply. I'm still very needy. Call Lewis way too many times, probably a day. Speed dial, because even though I know the answer to a question, I need to call and ask anyways. I just need double, triple checking that I know these answers, because I get wicked anxiety. And I just think I needed a little bit more help in that moment. And I only had one thing on the table, so maybe I didn't give anyone enough time to give me the help. But I just ended up switching to the other brokerage because you helped me out. And I felt more comfortable, I would be able to get the help I needed, because I felt like I was extremely needy, in which I needed someone to actually answer my calls when I was calling a million times. So what I felt like my job was going to entail with real estate is definitely different from what people see on the outside. There's definitely a lot more to it than anyone on the outside thinks typically, until you're actually really going through it. And sometimes you have a deal that's like super easy, and it's like, ooh, one showing, and they submit an offer. Oh, and it got accepted. Oh, and there was not a single hiccup, and everyone agreed to everything, and we closed on time. Like, that's cool and easy, but most of the transactions are not gonna be like that. And then when I got into it and I realized, oh, hey, I actually have some work to do, and I got research to find out, and I'm not just saying, hey, look at this house, do you want to buy it? Like, my job is so much more than just, do you want to buy this house? Like, I just didn't realize how much really was involved with it, because I never bought a house with a real estate agent before. I never went through the process of it, so I didn't actually truly understand the actual process of what buying a house was like. So when I bought my house, we bought it at auction. So I got lucky because my dad went to the auction. So he definitely made it seem a lot simpler than what it is. You just go there, hey, this much, this much. No, it was very different once I got into and I seen like, oh, there's a lot more steps to this than meets the eye at times. And there's a lot more that, the agents have to do with verifying information and making sure that your clients are protected. And again, every scenario is different. Every need for every buyer and seller is different. So you're going to make sure that you're constantly protecting their best interest. So prior to real estate, my primary job for income was am a barber still. I'm still cutting hair in Gardner, and as kind of like on the side, because I didn't get paid for it, I run a flag football league for kids. So it's Central Mass Flag Football, and we've been doing that since 2014, I think, a long time now. And it's all over. We have thousands of kids that play, and we have two spots in Worcester, a spot in Fitchburg, a spot in Gardner, all year round in Marlboro. Like we have Springfield. We've really expanded a lot. So a lot of my time was dedicated to flag football and running that league, and it is a lot of work. A lot of work. But it really helped my real estate career doing barbering and being connected like that to the community, because a lot of people know me, a lot of people know who I am. They trust me, I already have a level of trust with them because they've seen the product that myself and the other board members for Flag have created, which we've gotten a lot of compliments, and how well it's organized and how well the entire league is run. And when you're running a league that has 700 kids in it at a time, and at one point, previous to COVID, 2020 season, we were actually trending 1,000 kids for just one league. I mean, one season, never mind throughout the whole year. The season before that, we had 700 kids and like 74 teams, and it was a lot of work, a lot of manpower, and we never really had any issues. So people already had like a trust for me because they knew the product that myself and the others had given. So it kind of helped out for, like, there's already a trust factor there that people knew me. So it definitely helped to kind of skyrocket my real estate career because I already had such a large sphere of influence. And then again, when you're someone's barber, you're basically their therapist. So I knew a lot of people through that as well. Flag football. So why flag football? It's because my husband, Dana, he ran a basketball league, and he had a lot of parents. They were talking one day, like football signups were coming up, and these parents were complaining about tackle, and they just didn't want their kids playing it ultimately. And he was thinking like, oh, I wish there was just like another thing that we could do for these kids around here. And he just had this random idea while running his basketball league, like, oh, I should do a flag football league. And this was in January, and by April he had the first season open, and he had like 300 kids signed up, and No, maybe it wasn't 300. I lied. That was an exaggeration. He had like I think 4 teams per level or something like that. It was still a good amount of kids for the first season, and then from there it just continued to grow and grow and grow, and we just do a lot at it's NFL affiliated. So last year we went out to Las Vegas. No, was it? No, New Orleans. I lied. It was New Orleans for the like the summit, and it was pretty cool because Dana got to get up there and talk with a lot of the other guest speakers and talk about our league. And there's just certain things that we do that people really like that we give the kids. It's more than just a league. We have like a live draft where the kids, like the coaches, go out and physically, the teams are already made, but they go out and they like call each kid, and there's music and lights in an auditorium, and they get shined, and they go up and they hold their jersey up. So it's just like the NFL draft, but it's for the kids. The kids love it. So things like that, and we work really, really hard with rules on how to draft the teams to make them as evenly skilled as possible. I mean, nothing's foolproof, but it works pretty good. So, like, recently I ran into the most challenges. One of them was I had buyers who really like a home. They put in an offer. They spoke with the lender. They're like, yep, it's VA approved. So we get their house on the market. We're going through all these steps. And then I referred them to another lender because I felt like their interest rate was kind of high. And, you know, I think it's important. I always tell everyone, like, shop around lenders. Like, as much as a certain lender that I might like, I just want to make sure they're getting the best deal. So they reached out to this other lender, and that lender reached out to me, and she's like, you realize that this home is not VA approved. It was denied back in 2018. I'm like, what? And here we are into this process, and the seller has to buy a home. They have to sell a home. They have to close on this. We have all of these moving pieces, all that have to close together, and like everything was just shattered at that point. My buyers were able to luckily maneuver through it. We figured out other financing, and as of this moment, everything looks like it's going to go forward. But like, that's something that was like pretty like frustrating because it definitely wasn't. I did my due diligence. Hey, does this qualify for VA? Yes, it does. So sometimes when other people don't do their job, it makes it hard for us. So that's why it's important that as agents, we're always like double checking these things, because just because one person tells you something, it doesn't always mean that they're right. So you kind of always want to be checking on them. So I have definitely run into a few creepy people so far. And a couple of, like, there's one scenario which really freaked me out. I'd gotten a call from someone who wanted to go see some land, and it was like a bunch of land, and they wanted to go see it and like walk the land. I've never met this person, never talked to them. I'm like, I'm not gonna go meet a random person and walk through 10 acres of land with them. Like, so I had called up Dana. I'm like, hey, this person wants to go see land. Can you come with me? And I'll go and meet them. So the person was like, I'm driving from, I forgot, like an hour, 2 hours, some absurd amount of time away. And he told me he was there. I'm like, okay, yep, I'm just pulling up. Where are you so I can meet you? And we're texting, and myself and him get out. And then all of a sudden, guy completely ghosts me. And then a little bit, like, you know, maybe 20 minutes later, he goes, oh, something came up, I had to go. And I was like, wow. I don't know if that's true. I mean, who knows what could have. Maybe something really came up. Maybe he really drove an hour and a half, and then something came up right when I got there and he had to take off, right? But for me, or maybe it was just someone pranking me and they weren't really actually going at all, right? Because I never saw anyone there. But for me, I thought it was kind of weird that he said he was there, and the moment we got out, all of a sudden, crickets, and there was nobody there. So I make sure that, like, if I don't know somebody, that I'm always got like him or my dad, you know. And then I also, there's emergency on the side of my phone where like you can like, with Android, you can like double click and it actually takes like a 7-second video and a recording and it sends it out to your emergency contacts. So I always make sure I got my phone on me, ready to hit that button. And then, cause like, I know you can like meet people beforehand, but even if I go and I meet someone at the brokerage, like, who's to say when I meet them the next time that they're not going to do something crazy, right? So there's always, like, that chance, which I think you kind of, like, always take. So I just try to be cautious. Like, whatever houses I'm going to see, I make sure everyone knows this is my exact schedule. I literally break it down to like, I'm going to be here from 7 to 7:20 with a 5-minute drive to this place. And then typically throughout my showings, actually, like Dana was just calling me again because I haven't gotten home yet, so he gets worried or I haven't called him. Like him or my aunt or my dad, someone's always calling me like consistently throughout it to make sure that I'm good. Oh yeah. So I've had a couple of great ones. Like I had one client who we went and looked at a few homes, and nothing in their price range was like decent. And it was kind of sad to see some of these homes that they're looking at that was in their price range. And I'm like, this is a habitable home. Like I just felt bad. And we ended up coming across this one particular home and it just fit their needs. It was a little outdated, but that didn't matter to them. Like it was really well put together. It was one of the only homes where you could say it looked better in person than in the photos. And everything worked out perfect. We submitted the offer, it got accepted, and when I talked to the buyer and let her know it was accepted, she literally broke down crying and was like thanking me and hugging me. And I realized the fact that like, I know like not everyone gets that opportunity to buy a home and it's a hard thing to do. And she finally was able to do it. And when her offer got accepted on something that wasn't like sad to look at, to put it simply, I mean, it gave me a whole new perspective on my job. And I'm like, I like making people feel that happiness. It made me like the happiest person when I saw how much it meant to her. And they even got to keep the car that was there. We asked for the car that was in the garage and they got that too. Like they got it all. And I'm like, it was like someone had passed away, so it was a estate sale, and they got like everything that was inside of the home. So they wanted everything in there because they didn't have a lot, and then they got the extra car, which they were able to fix up and use and register. And I just think that like, again, all the homes they looked at and the other offers they had put in that didn't get accepted, and they're like heartbroken over things that were like falling apart, is like another example of sometimes it doesn't work out for a reason. And then they found a really awesome house that had everything they wanted, that didn't need a ridiculous amount of work, and it worked out perfectly. I just also had another one where the sellers accepted $150,000 under asking. That's pretty cool. It hasn't closed yet, but we're working on it. And I didn't expect it to get accepted. And I have another one that's under agreement that was like $70,000 under asking. So couple cool wins for them, almost total wins. We haven't closed on them yet, but we're getting there. So once they close, it's definitely a win. So I'm excited when, especially in this market, someone can get an under asking of anything. It's pretty cool. I think the things that are driving my business is going to be my connection with the community, or even Dana's connection with the community. So he is also like a city councilman, and a lot of people, as much as a lot of people know and like me, like 8 times as people know and love Dana. He's a like really like a symbol in our community, like where people really know and trust him. He's like a mentor to so many kids, and he had like such a rough life growing up, and he became such a great person, and everyone knows his history is so open, and people connect with him. And by being with him, that also helps me too. And then my connection, because he sends me a few people as well. And then my connection with the community through flag football, through the barbering, or just in general, I've always been a really outgoing person, and I've always known a lot of people. And I have a generally good reputation, I like to think. And so with that just came people naturally reaching out to me, kind of like I said, where people trusted me to begin with because they already seen the product that we produced with the flag football. So I already had like an underlying trust there. And then now, as I do things and I promote myself online, I don't always do all the videos, but at least I'm posting and I'm tagging and I'm throwing things out there. And it actually feels pretty good when I see like someone say, hey, I need a suggestion for a realtor. And I'll go through it sometimes and I'm like, how many did I get? How many referrals? And it makes you feel wicked good. I feel like a little kid. Like, I know it's kind of corny, but it does make me feel wicked good because I'll see agents who have been in it for a really long time who might have more referrals than me on that post, right? But like, they are like awesome agents. I've either worked with them or I know them well and I know that they are some phenomenal agents. And when I see their name being put up there so many times and I see I got my name with them, it makes me feel good that I'm like, oh, look at that. Like, I know these are some great women and men. And I'm like, being suggested with them makes me feel good. I think the thing that I can offer a buyer or seller that not all agents can necessarily offer is the fact that, like, I really actually care about the individual. Like, while making money is great and getting a commission is great, like, I don't want to just close a deal so I can make money. I want the deal to be the best deal for them, and I want them to like be happy. Like, I genuinely care that they're not just going through the motions or anything. Like, I genuinely care about everyone that I'm working with. Or like, I had people like, they wanted to submit under asking offers and they're like, oh, I worked with another agent and they wouldn't submit it. I'm like, why not? Like, it's not about what I want. It's about what you want. And if you want to submit an offer that's 100,000 under asking, then that's what we will do. Whether it gets accepted or not, it is what it is, right? But if that's what you want to do, then that's what we'll do. Even as far as, waiving home inspections, I always encourage them not to waive a home inspection because this is the biggest purchase of your life. And I don't think that you should bypass something if you're not like a construction person or a very handy person and you think you can fix anything that's thrown at you, then I really think you want a home inspection because something could come up. Now, I do have people who are like, I don't care, I want this. If that's what's gonna make my offer stronger, then I'm gonna do it. Okay, you can do that, but like, I wanna make sure that regardless of me getting the offer accepted and getting a paycheck, I'd rather not get the offer accepted if it's going to hinder or hurt my buyer in the long run. So I truly do care about like the individual and ensuring that their purchase and their whole, everything that happens throughout the transaction is smooth and easy for them as humanly possible. Like, I want to go above and beyond to make sure that like I get everything handled and they don't have to stress about it. If somebody wants to get a hold of me, no, I'm just kidding. No, if somebody wanted to work with me and they need to get a hold of me, they could call me. They call my cell phone. They can send me an email. Find me on Facebook. Shoot me a Facebook message. Don't Instagram message me. I never check it. Definitely don't TikTok message me. People do that. I don't know why. I never see it. But Facebook Messenger for sure. Or call my cell phone or text me, email, anything. Really? So I typically work in like Gardner, Fitchburg, Winchendon, Athol, Westminster, Ashburnham, like that whole general vicinity, Hubbardson, Peterson, Rutland. Like, that's my main area in which I've had a lot of business because that's a lot of where my primary circle is. I have a person who I cut at the barber shop, and it was funny, she actually did not use me as her real estate agent. She already had one when she started getting her hair cut, but she really likes me and she referred me to someone that she works with, right? And then she works out here in Worcester. So now I'm starting to be able to spread out a little bit, which is nice. So I helped this amazing couple in Worcester get a home, and then they refer me to their friends in Worcester who now I'm helping them get a home, which I'm writing an offer for them tonight. So it's pretty cool because now I'm starting to like get outside of my circle with people that I don't know through referrals. But I mean, I'm willing to work anywhere, but the general area of where I know is going to be in that, greater Gardner and surrounding town area. So that's where I primarily work. Yes, I would have. So now that I've been here for 3 years, I most definitely would continue, would have done this again. I wish I would have done it earlier. But I don't think I would have been as successful necessarily if I did it earlier. I say that now, but everything we do, again, it has a purpose and a meaning. And I think that it would have been a lot harder for me to get into it because the beginning of my career, again, it was COVID. So I was barely working at my barber shop, if at all. So I got to focus on actually learning and how to do this. And I think sometimes starting off, people are nervous and whatever, and it takes a lot. And I was able to focus a lot more on it than I think I necessarily would have given it if I didn't have the ability to. So I think it all worked out the way that it was supposed to for me. And I definitely have no regret for doing it.